Good morning, students. I welcome all of you in this session of English language. In the previous session, we discussed all the activities from the section Icebreakers of the poem There Is Another Sky, written by American poetess Emily Dickinson. We also talked about the poetess and what is the poem about in the last session. Students, today in this session, we are going to deal with the actual poem There Is Another Sky. Students, before I explain all the lines of the poem, let me tell you the structure of this poem. This poem consists of 14 lines. It is Petrarchan sonnet, which is also known as Italian sonnet. So students, sonnet is a poem of 14 lines. The sonnet is split into 2 stanzas or part. The first part is called octave as it consists of 8 lines. The second part of the sonnet is called sestet as it consists of 6 lines. Students, this poem is a part of letter Emily Dickinson sent to her younger brother Austin. It can be said that the poem is philosophical in nature. The tone of the poem is encouraging, inspirational, and pledging. This poem can be said as a call or invitation for her brother Austin. Students, let us look at page number 76. I hope you must be having textbooks with you. I read the poem. There is another sky, ever serene and fair, and there is another sunshine, though it be darkness there. Never mind faded forests, Austin, never mind silent fields. Here is a little forest whose leaf is evergreen. Here is a brighter garden where not a frost has been. In its unfading flowers, I hear the bright bee hum. Preeti, my brother, into my garden come. Students, let us look at the first 2 lines of the poem. There is another sky, ever serene and fair. The first line, there is another sky, is metaphorical itself. The words another sky in this line metaphorically refers to their home, which is like heaven. The word serene in the second line used by the poetess itself clarifies the fact that the place the poetess is referring is peaceful or calm. Moreover, this fact is supported by another word, that is fair. The poetess describes the beauty of this place, telling us about the sunshine which is there even though there is a darkness. If you look at the lines, line number 3 and 4, and there is another sunshine, though it be darkness there. So here the poetess describes the beauty of the place, telling us about the sunshine, though there is a darkness. So in this way, the poetess has compared 2 places, that is, one which is the world of energy and enthusiasm, another where there is a darkness. The word darkness here refers to the depressed and sad mood of her brother Austin. Let us look at the next 4 lines. Never mind faded forest, Austin, never mind silent fields. Here is a little forest whose leaf is evergreen. So, in these lines, the poetess advises her brother that he should not worry about faded forest and silent fields. Here, the expressions like faded forests mean the gloomy condition and silent fields mean dullness or loneliness in the life of Austin. The poet, as a sister, advises him to ignore all these negative things, come to her place even though it is little, but the leaves in this little forest are always green. So, the poetess wants to tell here is that this little forest is exactly opposite to the place where Austin is leading his life. Students, now let us move to the next part of the poem. I read the second part of the poem. Here is a brighter garden where not a frost has been. In its unfading flowers, I hear the bright bee hum. Priti, my brother, into my garden, come. In this part of the poem, the poetess describes the place where she is living with full positivity. The place, the garden where the poetess invites her brother to return is without worries, miseries, and troubles. The word brighter suggests that instead all these negative aspects of life, happiness, and cheerfulness are there. The place where the poetess and her brother have spent happy time together is heavenly place, as the poetess hears cheerful humming of bees in unfading flowers in the garden. Here, unfading means bright or colorful. So in this way, the poetess continues describing the place where she wants her brother to be. It is undeniable that miseries are there in the life, but solutions do exist there. Therefore, the poetess Emily Dickinson convinces her brother Austin to come into the garden. So students, this is how we have discussed all the lines of the poem. I hope you understood both the parts, octave and sestet of this poem. I conclude my lecture here. I stop here. The figures of speech in this poem will be discussed in the next session. Thank you.